So this video, we're going to look at how to create a procedural sky. And we're going to do that by going over to our world properties. And we can also pull that up under our shading menu and drop our going from shader type from object to world, select our world. And this time we're going to add a sky texture. And we can do that by simply clicking this yellow icon here, or we can go ahead and shift and add it here as well. So I'll go ahead and click here, and then we're going to go down to sky texture. And this tends to work best in our cycles. If I go to render properties and I'm in EV, it won't give me my sun disk, which is kind of a fun feature about having it in cycles. So now if I go over to my rendering, I have this sky that is relative to the sun. If I drop this down a little bit smaller, a little bit, drop the strength down a little bit more. And then if you can see, I have my sun up in the sky. You can set the size. You can also set the elevation, which would give you great day and night cycle. And it also affects the shadows as it kind of goes up and over into our scene. If you're having problems with cycles, there's ways that you can kind of simplify it as well. If you go to your render, you can also have it simplify. You can also have it, if you go to volumes, which we're going to be working with here in a second, you can increase the rate of this to like 3 or 4, depending on how fast you want to run it. And you can also do some performance settings in here as well. You can go and you can increase the pixel size to have it be a little bit more pixelated. Might actually help speed things up, at least in your viewport. Um, so it's a good way, again, to kind of just have a general setup of a, of a sky. But now let's add some clouds. I'm going to do that first by adding a separate object. And you can do that with a sphere, you can do it with a plane, but I feel like using it as a cube keeps things nice and simple. I'm not adding too much more geometry to my scene. So go ahead and scale this up to kind of encompass my scene. And then I'm going to go back to my world and go to object. And I'm going to create a new material. And let's call this material sky or clouds or sky clouds, I guess. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete my regular principal BSDF because I want to have a volume, which is something we're going to use at creating a cloud texture. So I have a volume scatter plugged into my volume node. And then I'm going to drag off this color and I'm going to drag it to a noise texture. And then I'm going to actually run this noise texture through a color ramp. So right now it looks like just one giant cloud, but if we go through and we kind of adjust this as far as we'll increase the detail, and then let's increase the roughness. And then let's take our color ramp, and then the higher we slide this black to our white, the more or less dense our clouds are going to be. So then it starts breaking it up into more believable cloud shapes that's easier to see kind of through this almost like a dense fog that was before. And then I can go ahead and scale these up again to like maybe a higher, let's try 15. I'll try 15 for my detail. And then let's increase and decrease the roughness. And play around with these numbers till you can kind of get more um, believable cloud shapes. And then you can also increase your density and your volume scatter to something like 5 or even, let's see, 6 to kind of give your clouds a little bit more density to them. And then play around again with like some of these numbers, like scale to see, maybe up this to kind of play around so it's not so foggy. And then let's go ahead and add some mapping as well. And then we'll add our texture coordinates generated. And then have a little more control over where these clouds are kind of coming in to kind of avoid some of that fogginess. Is you can add um, a solidifying modifier to our cube. So it actually adds like a thickness to it. And then play around like with this thickness. That's going to control how close these clouds are going to be coming to um, our scene. And then this allows us to kind of make a little bit thicker and denser clouds too. And we can play again with scale to kind of get right where we kind of want these clouds to be. Um, then you can use some of these other parameters, such as our rotation to kind of move these clouds around in our scene. You can even make some cool animations out of moving these around. And I could kind of continue to play with these numbers till the clouds kind of feel uh, right to you. Depends on how cloudy you want your day. Um, Still might look a little too foggy around the sun. You can kind of push maybe this thickness back a little bit, um, as well as even pushing this value. And then the last thing I want to show you is how you can kind of start putting some different terrains that have different materials or even different adjustments to the nodes off in the background to kind of create, yeah, like break up this horizon line a little bit.